Go. You're live, it says. It says we're live. Are we live? Hello. Greetings.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah.
That's the show, right?
It means no worries for the rest of your Kickstarter campaign. You have no worries, right?
None.
We are worry-free.
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 Greetings.
Greetings. What a wonderful phrase. Indeed. Hi. Thank you for joining us. I will do the thingy where I put the link in the thing.
All the things.
You guys know what I'm doing.
It's very articulate.
We're
good communicators here.
In case anyone's, that's what we do professionally, is make sounds and go, you know what I mean, right? Brendan and I have been working together so much that there are times that I just don't finish the sentence and I go, but you know what I mean, right? And usually he does.
On set, I will say words to Ashley, and then I know that I've crossed the threshold when there's just a blank expression, and I go, none of that was English. None of those were words. Cool.
But in case you're new, to
hi, little snowflake. Thanks for donating
this. Oh, thank you so much. Anyone who pledges, well, first of all, hi, we're doing a Kickstarter for
hashtag idiot tale. A tale told by an idiot. You're looking at the two idiots involved.
We sure are.
Yep.
We sure are idiots. Thanks, Ed. We are creating a modern day adaptation of Macbeth set in the Silicon Beach startup world. The company is creating a VR game. The witches are part of that VR game. We're creating them with motion capture. Mac is the founder of this company. Beth is the engineer doing all the work. She gets real fed up with the way things are being run.
And the witches in the game start talking to Mac and predicting the future of the company.
And Beth sees a path to
take over said company.
There you go. So that's the
gist.
Elevator pitch.
Yeah.
This is a weird elevator. It hasn't gone up or down in a while.
It's been a spaceship, but not an elevator.
This room has been a spaceship. So that's the gist. And if this is your first time joining one of our live streams, we do all kinds of fun things.
Sure.
We like to put names up on the wall if you donate during the live stream or up your pledge in any amount, $1.
Something that's been very successful in this campaign for the Shakespeare theme.
I just happen to have this book of custom Shakespeare insults. You love it. And so I've also just been, oh yeah, it works like this, where there's like different
insults that you put together.
So you get a custom insult. You get a custom insult if you back or up during the pledge, and then we have a couple other fun giveaways that I think we'll get to in a bit.
Yes, a very popular thing on the last live stream was we played a game called Horrible Haikus, which was created by a Pemberley alum, Sarah Fletcher, and her husband, and a guy named David Mickler. We played that game to much enjoyment.
Yeah, so we've got that.
We brought that back.
And
we got a little giveaway for later on involving that.
Oh,
what happened?
I tried to very gently. You're not supposed to shake a kombucha, but I tried to very gently
stir the kombucha.
I just sort of gently turned it upside down because I noticed all the stuff sitting at the bottom, and now I'm afraid to open it again.
Do you need to open it off camera? Well, you can leave, and I'll pitch the.
It's okay.
Great, crisis averted.
But if anyone is a kombucha fan, you know how it can like.
It almost ended, you guys. That was almost it.
Wait.
Live stream over.
Amber, thank you so much.
Thank you, Amber. All right.
Oh, and Paul just adjusted this.
Well, thank you, Paul.
Wait, am I behind already?
Oh man, we're off to the races. Thanks, everybody. Already for coming in hot.
Yes, Paul and Amber, thank you so much.
Paul and Amber, thank you. You get.
Oh, wait, do I have tape?
I'll find some tape.
I thought I had other things. But Paul, you are a monstrous lily-livered pumpion. I don't know what that is, but it's great, right?
Paul the pumpion.
Lily-livered pumpion.
Tape.
Fantastic. Do you mind putting this on the wall while I make one for Amber?
Wait. Yes. I'll block that. Great.
Always checking camera.
Do you want to come up with an insult for Amber?
I am.
All right. Just
Can't do everything at once.
Sorry.
Amber, you reeky, debauched harlot. Harlot is definitely in here more than once.
I mean, it's a go-to.
It is a go-to. But would you like to be something different? You can be a miscreant. A reeky, debauched miscreant. Ah. Thank you so much, you guys. So I think a lot of you probably know because we sent out an update last night. But for those who don't know, Will Stribling, who we created this project with, booked a big job. So that's great for him, and also means that we are now a band of 2. That means we need to raise a little bit more money than we had originally thought. I'm laughing so I don't cry. Because we need an editor. That was something that that Mr. Stribling's alternate personality was going to do, and now he's unavailable because he's got other fancy jobs. So so we don't have an editor. Know anyone? Seriously, you know how to find me. And we don't have a budget for one. So so we're really close to hitting our Kickstarter goal, and we still have a week left in the campaign. So we're really hoping that we can reach a stretch goal of being able to pay an editor. Seems good. Seems good. Anna, thank you so much.
Thanks, Anna.
And you know, I'm making jokes, but it's stressful. It's scary. We had some real come to Jesus. Hold up, Anna. Anna, you pernicious, lumpish swain. Pernicious, lumpish swain. Oh, little snowflake. You pernicious, lumpish swain. And you guys are all bonding about the fact that you're in France and we're just in boring old America. Heather,
Thanks,
thank
Heather.
you, Heather. We of course want to include you guys in what's going on because you're a part of the team now. You're making it possible. You're our investors, and we value you enormously. Heather, you odious, mammering nut hook.
A nut hook.
Odious, mammering nut hook. And Jane, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jane.
As some of you lovely people are noticing, we added some new tiers last night. We added a $250 tier that includes you in post-production. Basically, we're going to Jane, you perfidious, sodden-witted bugbear.
Bugbear.
Perfidious, sodden-witted bugbear. I'm trying to do both of these things. As you guys have noticed, I'm multitasking. Peter.
That's how we do.
Thank you so much. He's on tape now. You sheep biting. Did I go back in time? Didn't we do sheep biting before? I'm skipping ahead. You plume plucked, cockered pizzle.
Pizzle.
I like it.
Peter the pizzle.
Oh, that works. You guys are so sweet. Okay, never mind. That was one going the other direction. Okay. Mayla.
Thanks, Mayla.
Thank you so much. You definitely done that. You threw. I'm skipping ahead. We did these.
Cool.
You rottish, impudent clackdish. My notifications are going nuts. Gabby, thank you.
Thanks, Gabby.
So we added, so at $250, you will, you'll join us for a Google Hangout or whatever technology ends up being best for it. But unlike this, where we're just typing at each other, the goal would be to actually be in conversation a little bit more. And Gabby, you vain rump-fed prig.
Prig.
rump fed. What is that? Is the rump a cheaper cut of meat? What is that? Probably. And we will show you part of the process. We'll show you rough cuts. So you'll see in advance, get a sneak peek of what it is that we're making, but also you'll get a sense of how things change. So a rough cut is kind of what it sounds like. It's a rough assembly of going like, this is the shape of this scene.
Based off of the footage we have.
Based on the footage we have. And then from there, what happens is a lot of kind of tinkery stuff. Sometimes you need to swap a take because of performance or because of something the camera is doing. Sometimes you're in love with the performance in the beginning of a take, but not at the end, and you weren't planning to cut, but then do you need to cut so you can preserve the performances that you want, or do you want to, use the best take that goes all the way through so you don't have to cut away? Things like that, and many more things that you would be better explaining than me. I don't know why I decided to be the one to explain editing.
It's great. But then beyond that, from there, once you've locked the cut, you do things like sound design.
Right. So in a rough cut, you'll be getting a glimpse of what the show is before. It really gives you a great appreciation for what post does, actually, when you see what a show looks like before it's been colored and before sound has been put in and before it has the score and before any special effects have been added and before, there are other things that all kinds of things. Like on Sona, something that we did a lot of that you can't tell is stabilization, because Brendan did the whole show handheld for the most part, other than the scenes that he's in which we used a tripod. And that meant that sometimes the camera moves are a little too shaky. We like that kind of movement, but we don't want to make anyone seasick. And because we shoot in 4K, shooting this show in 6K, I don't really understand these things, but it's more K.
Lots of Ks.
Because we're shooting in such high resolution, the way that you stabilize footage is that you bump in and then go frame by frame and cut off the bits that are wobbly. Did that make sense? I'm sort of right, though, right?
You're sort of right.
You know what I mean.
Yes.
See, he knows what I mean. This is why we work together so well. But all kinds of things. Anyway,
many things happen in the post-production process.
But so
you'll be able to compare when you see the final project to what you saw in the rough cuts. Be able to go, oh wow, like that's changed a lot, or wow, that performance was really preserved. Like it stood on its own at the beginning during the rough stage, and by the end, they didn't need to do much to it. It was kind of perfect.
Right. And so that I think is really fun in terms of kind of being a part of the process, but also it means that like you'll get a sneak peek.
Thanks, Ed.
Ed, you pestilent salt butter malt horse.
But isn't salt butter delicious?
I think so. What's wrong with that?
How is that an insult?
To be fair, I do prefer sweet butter because you can always add salt. Mm-hmm. It's strange. It seems like on like the Great British Bake Off that they're always like, and salted butter. And I'm like, I never use salted butter when I bake. I use unsalted butter and then I add salt because then I have control over the salt. I feel like if you use salted butter, it's too salty for me. Salted butter comes from France. Oh, so it's a French insult because Shakespeare hated
they hated the French.
That makes sense.
I see.
That makes sense.
Thanks. I think it's Jana.
I think it's Jana.
Jana. Thanks, Jana, for telling your friends about the project.
Caitlin Rose.
That's what it's all about.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Caitlin Rose.
What a pretty name. I mean, you all have beautiful names, but this one actually sounds like a Shakespeare character.
Excellent.
Caitlin Rose, you spongy, wry-necked puttock.
Puttock.
Mm-hmm. Jane and Nia. Am I saying it? Jane and Nia? Look, one of my best friends calls me Shmee. I shouldn't be telling you guys this because then you'll call me that. But it started because she called me Ashmee, and then she started calling me Shmee. So she's one of my best friends. And she'll be like, Shmee? She's the only one who gets to call me that.
Will Shmee about that.
Ah.
So should we talk about what if we're pitching the idea of letting people in on the process and
right, and let us tell you about that process. And then a $500 perk includes all of that, and also coming to a screening in LA. I can't fly you to LA, so you'll have to make your way there. But here, rather. But if you are LA adjacent or willing to come travel, we will host you at a screening we will also invite all the cast and crew. I can't promise that anyone will be there, but for the most part, probably the whole cast will want to come because people like to see the things that they are in. It's true. The Sona screening was quite fancy. I cannot promise that it will be as fancy, but I can promise that we will show the thing.
Indeed.
And that we will be present.
Indeed.
And then typically there'd be like some snacks and drinks, and we'll all like hang out and chat a bit and take some photos, whatever you like.
How much advance notice would there be for the screening?
Great question. Great question.
I mean, that's so cart before horse, or that's so down the line. But generally, you have to book a venue
at least a month in advance.
So there's probably some heads up.
And
there.
if we have a bunch of people at that level, then I think that we would really need to make a commitment to trying to, we would make that a priority. Ed says Macbeth cupcakes because he came to the Sona screening, and we did have special Sona cupcakes, which you may have seen on my Instagram.
We did.
Macbeth cupcakes could have like little knives in them. Yeah. Red velvet cupcakes.
Ton. You guys, we're great at producing screenings. Who needs to produce the actual content?
Snacks.
Just skip the content part and get to the screening.
So that would be something that we would definitely prioritize for you guys, because
the idea would be, once we kind of know where we are in post-production and when we'll have something to actually be able to show, then we can book a space, because we would hate to book a space and have it not be sound designed yet.
Right. And I guess what's a little hard right now is that we're figuring out what the whole post-production schedule will be now. So that's a great transition into, let's talk about what it is that we're doing. Is it one person plus a guest or just one? You can bring a plus one. For fun.
Yeah. Oh, man. Look at that. Just like that.
Was that too generous?
Just like that.
No,
it's one.
For one.
No, it's a plus one now. The internet has spoken.
Look, I made a limited amount of those, so I think only 10 people could buy it. So, Mayla and Gabby are like, could we go in this together? That's
a thing.
Those are the things. So, what are we up to right now? We are
so what now?
What now? First things first, we have to finish this Kickstarter. So we're doing that with you guys right now. We are doing a live stream reading on Monday night here, and whatever time of day that is for you guys. I know that a lot of you are in Europe, and I'm sorry. It was literally the only time I could get the whole cast together. I really wanted to get them together on like a weekday morning so that it would probably be better for the rest of the world. But this was the only time that we could get some of our lead actors to come read, and I really wanted them to do that. So we're reading Shakespeare's Macbeth, and I'm gonna make a million snacks, you guys. I said I'm good at snacks. So that's Monday night, and we're gonna keep crowdfunding, and then we're definitely going to do a big long live stream the last day, which is next Saturday the 20th, just right between Good Friday and Easter.
So the 15th and the 20th.
15th and the 20th are some fun live streams, and I don't know, I may pop up in the midst. We are also, of course, working on finishing the show. So we just did a whole bunch of pre-production stuff yesterday. We locked down a bunch of locations.
Yes.
Well, really two, but one of them is many days. So next Friday.
And one of them is acting as many locations.
Yes.
Because we're scrappy like that.
Yep. So next Friday, we're shooting a big group scene at a location that we're borrowing, which is so
got no money.
Because we got no monies. But because we have someone very generously donating a location to us, we're swooping in and then swooping out. So we're going to do a day on the 19th, and I'm actually going to probably like Instagram live from set because I'm only in one scene. So,
2 scenes.
Yes, yes, but we'll shoot them back to back. No, the other scene. Oh, yeah.
This is why we make schedules.
I'm in two scenes. But I thought you meant the two parts of the one scene. Great. We will. But I'm gonna have some downtime. So in the midst of running around and doing all my producery things, I'm gonna. I hear you, Gabby, and hypothetically, possibly, but I can't promise that I can schedule that around.
Yeah. So, Gabby, what I would say is that October, November was exactly when we were hoping to kind of like plan to drop the series originally. When we first began this process, we were like, a fall release. That sounds nice. But now that we were not going to be involved in any of post-production, and now we are post-production.
So we're still figuring that out.
Yeah, that's just, again, we're dealing with a knowledge deficit that
we're still very much planning to put this show out by the end of the year. Yes. I always put December's delivery as just a very generous, just giving me more time to deliver perks. But anyone who backed the Sona perks knows that they came out pretty fast. Yeah. Anything that I actually have to sit down and put in the mail, because I will just sit down and put them in the mail. Elizabeth, thank you so much.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
And so, but I just don't at this point know when the show is going to be put out. But know this about Brendan and I, we don't like sitting in limbo with something. This is not going to be like, Elizabeth, you moldy, shag-haired whore son.
Oh.
We're definitely going to focus on this until it's done, because we kind of can't. There's no peace for us until it is done. And so there have been times that some of our stuff has taken longer to come out publicly because of distribution stuff, but it's been done. And then we've just been waiting for other people to release it, and that gets complicated. Right. But in that time, we should be able to have a screening. So because it's a private.
Till Burnham. That's what I did?
Yes, I do.
Great.
So if we seem a little scattered, it's because we are doing so many jobs.
Yeah.
So yesterday we booked our favorite location for the 19th, and then we booked.
Yes, we booked the borrowed location for the 19th.
Right.
And we booked.
And then we booked. I mean, we don't get charged until after the Kickstarter, luckily, but or we couldn't have booked it. But we booked the startup house that is the main location for the first 4 episodes. And so some of the scenes take place in the living room, and some of the scenes take place in the kitchen, and some take place in the dining room, and some take place in a couple of the bedrooms. And then we're using the outside of that house as a different location. So we're going to do 4 days in that house. And that was a really interesting process, because we were looking for ideally one house structure that could be all these different things. And so, excuse me, I am drinking a carbonated beverage. We found some that we loved for the living room, but the bedrooms didn't work. And then we found one that had great bedrooms, but the living space didn't work. And then we thought, well, okay, can we do some in one and some in the other? But then also we have to do, we have to come in on budget, because there's a finite amount of money. And so that's the kind of producing stuff we're doing. And so we have found a location that we're really excited about that does a lot of these things, but the walls are all completely blank, for instance, which means that now something that I was doing researching this morning is what can we put on the walls? Because I'm also doing production design and costumes.
Yay.
So that's us moving forward in actually producing. And then we'll be pretty close to being done with it. We'll owe one scene, but it's just us, which means that we're not as worried about scheduling it. We're also working really hard to work around the schedules of very busy actors like Joey and Ryan and a couple of other people who have not been announced yet.
This is what scheduling looks like. Write down everyone's conflicts and where do we get people? Move the Post-its around for the days. Be like, we can shoot this scene here and this scene here.
That was a really big puzzle piece of making sure that we can you know, and so some of these days are going to be really long and full because we're trying to shoot people out because they can really only give us a couple days. And so we're like, okay, then we're doing every one of your scenes that day. I just went to sleep in my brain for 2 seconds because I needed the rest.
How was it?
It was a beautiful nap.
People are being very supportive.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No, like we're gonna be okay. I've not slept a lot in the last couple days. But we're gonna be okay. And then we're also really, of course, committed to making something that we're proud of, because otherwise let's not do any of this. And so because we lost our director, Brendan is now directing, which I'm thrilled with because Brendan is a fantastic director. He directed Non-Transferable, which is available on Amazon Prime if you're in the US, and I'm really sorry about, and the UK, and I'm really sorry about other countries. Although I think there is French distribution.
Yeah.
Have you French ladies seen it? But I don't know where it is
right China.
Now. It is?
Yeah.
Legally?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't get all the updates about distribution. Anyways, it can be seen in a lot
Neither do I, to be fair.
The world, but not all of the world, and we know that. We're sorry we don't actually have control over that. And he directed Sona and a lot of other things, but those are the things that I am also the star of.
There you go.
And therefore his best work. And we work really well together, and I'm really, and we wrote this together. So like, you know, we have been talking about the vision of that, but now Brendan is, I don't know if you want to talk about what that work is as a director, but now
sure.
I know you guys have Amazon Prime in France. It's just not on Amazon Prime in France. It is on Amazon UK, and it's on Amazon in the US.
And I think Canada.
Oh, cool. But in France, it was on TV?
Is there something called Channel M or M6 or something like that? I think that's where it went. And they have that's a TV station, I think, but then they have a digital interface. Yes, M6. Great. So it's on that. So I think it's on their online thing, and it's on their television sometimes when it's scheduled. It's called something different. It's
right. It's called
Girlfriend Has Reservations or something like that. It's a very, the French dubbing is awful. That's that. See, I thought it was hilarious.
Well, it was funny for us.
It was just so, because it was so charactery. Because she's like, la 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 la, and I'm like, ruh, 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 ruh. Like it's so polar. It's not so just strange. Two normal sounding people, but it's great. Yeah.
But do you guys know what it was called?
They said they've seen it. They found it.
I know, but I just can't remember what it was called because I can't remember how it translated. But you can't Google it that it's so easily. Anyway, but then we translated it on Google Translate. We were like, that's a weird title. Anyway, so now, anyways, but now we're transitioning into you doing the directing work. A lot of that is figuring out how it's going to be shot.
Right.
And so,
and in some ways we are, we started with
a particular
another collaborator
vision.
Who had a particular vision.
And so now we need to sort of make it all one complete project.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you speak to it. You're the director.
No, it's fine. I think the number one thing is that it's always hard when we wear lots of hats, because what you always want to make sure of is that you're not overstepping and you're not stepping out of your what we call lane or your job. And so as a former director on other projects and being an actor and a producer on this project, I was being very wary of we both worked really hard to honor Will's directing vision because he's the director. And so we've now established a certain look and a certain vibe, and we want to obviously not have the series feel like two different series. So it's a matter of figuring out the best way with the resources we have to streamline the rest of the production process and tell a great story and take advantage of the locations and the characters and the space and the universe, but to also honor elements of the style that is now pre-established and kind of baked in. So yeah, it's fun. It's like making dessert for someone else's dinner.
Well, that's
you want it to complement.
You want it to complement. More about dessert. Tell me
more about dessert. Great.
One of the things that I'm most excited about on our Monday live streaming is that I'm going to bake. Because I rarely bake anymore, because then if I don't have people to feed, then I eat all of
Me too, Gabby. Now I'm hungry.
All of the cookies. Yeah. So I'm really excited to make cookies for me, because I have an excuse for other people to be eating them. So Brendan's working on shot listing. A lot of what I'm contributing to this project is the Kickstarter. And so once we're done filming, I will begin working on perk fulfillment, and we will move into post-production. We are starting, just starting, so we just found out that we need to identify who that post team might be. Again, if you have recommendations.
Yeah.
And so we'll need an editor. And
we'll need sound design.
We'll need sound design.
We'll need possibly music.
We'll need color.
We'll need color correction.
We'll need VFX.
Yes, lots of visual effects. Those are kind of the big,
those are the big
things right now. And then
there's an order to which you can do those things, because like some special effects stuff you can get started on right away, but like for instance, you can't really work on color until you have a locked cut. And likewise with sound design, there's a few things, like if you're doing something special, you might
people keep saying Nick Lang, but I believe he's very busy right
Nick
now.
Lang is extremely busy.
To my understanding.
But I do adore him, and I don't know. I'm gonna ask. Hey, I know you're really busy. Would you do this for very little money?
But a lot of people mentioned they are artists, and something that we do need, it, like Ashley was saying, is things to fill our universe. And one of the biggest struggles of any movie and film is that all that stuff in the background that you never see had to either be fully created by somebody or cleared by somebody, because you can't use any legal copyright in your movie if you're then going to sell it in any
even ironically, like this, just to sort of as an example, we didn't do this intentionally, but the stuff that you can see, I mean, I don't actually own the Lizzie Bennet poster, but like we could always put that on the wall
because it's ours,
because we own that.
Technically, we own these because we designed them, we made them. Yeah.
Whereas like if I put up the Mona Lisa, I don't own that.
We don't own this. So we would have to create our own can, which is crazy to think about when you're watching a movie.
And that's something that happens in production design all the time. If you can see the label on a drink, they're probably paid sponsorship to be in the, in those movies where you're like, wow, that was like a really obvious shot of that Pepsi can. That's probably paid for. And the rest of the time you can't tell what people are drinking because of clearance. And so something that we are now talking about is how to dress the walls for this location that we just booked. And we need art that we can print, that we own. So if any of you are artists and want to send stuff,
poster prints or
I don't know enough about what is possible to print, but like it needs to be certain kinds of files, right?
Yes, but I would trust that the artist community out there,
you guys probably know better
has done print orders of their things or has tried to.
Can I give them the jigsaw?
Of course. It's online, but it's just info@jigsawensemble.com.
I'll put that here.
You can always hit me up there. We also gave our P.O. box out for
That's
Jigsaw.
True. Oh yeah, we're gonna open something that we got.
That's true.
Ensemble.com. And just making sure I spelled that all right. So that's an email address. And if you send us something that we think we can use, anything you send us is amazing and lovely. But we're also going for, I guess I should just tell you stylistically, this is the sort of like frat house. So like
incubator house.
It's the incubator house, but we wanted to
Snapchat
feel more masculine because Beth is the only woman. And so I'm sure a lot of your art is incredibly beautiful, but anything sort of more traditionally feminine, pink and floral and things like that, we're probably not going to use in this space.
Except there's things that happen in the startup house, right? That feel like dude bros putting up posters or elements but it's also a game company that is designing its artwork for its game. And so we have a whole character, our Banquo, played by Joey Richter, who's Benny. He is a
An
visual
artist.
artist who's kind of in that, I would say, in that like tattoo anime world. And so it would be totally fine for him to have some kind of like floral thing that you would see on someone's tattoo sleeve, but he's done like a mural of it or whatever. Like I totally would see that in his art studio.
Yeah, Gabby, I wish I had that kind of art. I can't. I have different art. I play pretend, I write, can't draw or paint or any of those things. What kind of art are you looking for? We've talked. So does that answer that question?
I think so.
Well, I meant to them, but so if you send us something and we think we can use it, we'll probably send back a very short release that just gives us in writing permission to use it.
Yes. So that if anybody ever asked, do you own, because when you go to distribute something, they make you deliver all the documents that prove that every single thing in your movie or series you own. And technically, and no one talks about this, but technically when you hit the upload button on YouTube, you're agreeing to all that. You are signing this huge long document that says I own all of this, even though obviously people vlogging in the middle of like a mall don't own all those logos or the music that's playing in the background or any of that. And it's kind of a weird element for copyright right now. But I think that AdSense is such little money.
Right, but part of what that new law that the EU is considering is basically
aimed at that.
Yeah, that stuff impossible. But so, for instance, when we got formal distribution for non-transferable, we had to have paperwork that for every single song that we had permission to use, and we had to have the written documents because we had partnerships on that. So like you can see the names of the hotels in it because they gave us the hotel rooms in exchange for being promoted in the movie, but we had to show documents that we had permission to use their logos and stuff.
Yep.
So it's a lot of paperwork. And so if anything like that ever happens, Brendan is just very good at making sure that like all of our ducks are in a row.
That's what Dropbox is for.
So many Dropboxes.
I mean, on that note, one of the very first things that happened when Will booked this job is that we needed to get the thumbs up for him because we all made this script together. And so we need to know, like, we had his blessing and permission to keep making this, to have the rights to do that.
And that's paperwork that, I mean, I filled out that paperwork for Sona. Basically,
I filled it out for non-transferable.
Basically, your company, the Jigsaw Ensemble, needs to own the rights to make the script, even for when you wrote it. So he wrote non-transferable, and then he had to sell it to himself for $1. We just always do it for $1. So that the Jigsaw Ensemble owned it. Likewise, I sold him Sona for $1
so that it had the rights to make
that he could make Sona. Technically, even though I was obviously there every day.
Right.
And so likewise, so
we got the thumbs up there. And what we're doing is, if you notice in the Kickstarter video, we have music, which is original music, but that is Will's composer. And so we've reached out to that composer and just said, hi, we want to keep working with you, use your music. But we obviously need the permission to do that. So,
and full disclosure, because that is a perk. We don't know right now. Dylan's he's on his bachelor weekend.
Congratulations, Dylan.
I was like, that doesn't sound right. Do I mean bachelorette? Nope, that's for girls. I'm forgetting there. Anyways, but so he's unavailable right now, and we'll connect with him next week. But he composes everything that Will does, so I don't know if he's going with Will and is therefore busy. We have worked with other composers that we love. If you haven't heard the Sona soundtrack, it's on iTunes and Spotify, and we guarantee that there will be some very good music, but I can't promise that it will be Dylan right now because I just don't know. Does the starter pass have a cat? No cats. Aileen, you surly, fat, kidneyed ratsbane. Wow.
Thanks, Aileen.
Thank you. Actually, one of our actors who is in A Tale Told by an Idiot, Camille Mana, she can't come do the live stream on Monday because I'm hosting it and she's terribly allergic to cats. And so Casey McKinnon is stepping in and reading the roles that she was going to read, and we are very grateful to her. But that's why, I don't know, you may have seen on my Instagram, that's why I was like, oh, right. And I texted Ryan Garcia to say, hey, because he's the only other person who's never been here. And I said to say, hey, I realized I should tell you I have a cat. And he responded like, Ashley, if anyone doesn't know that you have a cat. And I was like, that's fair. That's fair. It's very fair. It's true. I do.
Heather,
post a lot
thank
about
you.
her.
The Sona soundtrack is amazing. It's on iTunes and Spotify. Should anyone who hasn't listened to it want to go see it?
It's really cool to listen to in your car because it feels like you're driving a spaceship.
Yeah.
Does anyone else do that? Just me? Just me?
But that was composed by my best friend in real life, Eric Scott Smith. And I would be picking up this phone right now to ask Eric to compose.
He had a baby 2 weeks ago.
By an idiot, but he and his wife just had a small baby. And so they are preoccupied. And as fate would have it, the person who has edited almost everything that I've ever
had a baby
directed,
4 weeks ago.
He and his wife had a baby 4 weeks ago. So basically everyone I know in post-production currently has their own mini production.
Currently has an infant.
And so they will not be able to be working.
Which is partly why we're scrambling a little bit more, because we have worked with people before that we adore. And it's also entirely possible that by the time that we're ready for that phase, that they might feel like they have the ability to take that on. But you can't really ask someone with a 2-week-old to do anything. That's not
fair.
Fair?
Not reasonable.
They don't get to sleep. They're sleeping less than me. This is my baby.
But everybody, you're saying that the legal stuff and the contract stuff feels overwhelming and daunting. It totally is.
Yeah, but it's also
but it's also standard. Like this is what producing looks like.
Exactly.
And
we would love to have more people handling it.
Sure.
But it's us.
But it's us. And also we love doing the fun creative part so much.
That we do all the
and we see this with our friends on Shipwrecked, our friends at Tin Can, is that we get to kind of jump on each other's sets and be like, oh, I'm not handling that today. That's great.
You go like, oh yeah, how's all that SAG paperwork coming?
Yeah.
I sympathize, and yet I am not going to help you right now.
So it's like, it is in some ways, there's the camaraderie of knowing that we live within a network and a sandbox of very creative people,
and those are also
who are willing to do all that work.
That we'll talk to about their recommendations. We should absolutely reach out to Tin Can and see. But like, for instance, we recommended the sound person for Wayward Guide.
Paul, yes, please give the contact information for any post-production people you know.
Of course.
And that goes for anybody. If
anyone.
you want to just randomly tweet us or e-intro us or
I mean, my DMs are open, but also you can email anything to the info@jigsawensemble.com email, and Brendan will share that with me.
Yeah.
Because we would love to expand our networks and meet more people as well. We adore the person who did sound for Sona, and we'll definitely ask him, but this is about twice as much content as Sona.
But he was a referral.
He was a referral from another friend, America Young, who's fantastic. And we'll also ask her what other referrals she has.
Yeah.
But basically the way that we got a really reasonable rate is that he made it his side project. So he could meet sometimes on the weekends and sometimes after work. And so, we would go in and meet him at like 7 p.m. and then go to like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we did that a bunch of times until I was like babbling gibberish. I basically go to bed by like 10. So if I have to stay up past 11, I just like don't even make sense anymore.
Sophie, America Young and I met about a decade ago when I first moved to Los Angeles, and I did a short film that she was stunt coordinating. And she hit me in the face with a piece of wood when a stunt went wrong. And we've been very good friends ever since. And she was the second unit director on Non-Transferable.
Right.
And she would have come with us to Turkey.
But she got knee surgery.
She had knee surgery. So, it's a small world.
What do you know her from?
Yeah, how do you know her?
Barbie yes, Barbie. We do know Barbie.
Yes. She is amazing at that. I mean, she was the director. She was overseeing a lot of the pipeline for how
she helped write some of it.
She helped write some of it and develop it and rebrand this idea of who Barbie was. And then she is Barbie. She's the voice and the motion capture of Barbie.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Amazing.
She's
a force of nature.
Lovely. And also just like the kind of person you want in your corner. She's fantastic. And she's working on a feature right now.
She's a hustler, yeah. Oh, you can please go support America Young's feature film debut, Death to Concessionaires.
Concessionaires Must Die.
Concessionaires Must Die. It's on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime in the US.
But if it's on a pay site, know that you're supporting a really great creator.
And I believe that what's his name? The guy who created all the Marvel stuff, who just Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee's in it.
I believe that Stan Lee makes a cameo in it. I kept thinking Spike Lee in my head, and I was like, "That's wrong. Don't say that out loud. That's not who it is." Stan Lee makes an appearance in it, and it's about like the people who do concessions in a movie theater,
like a scrappy indie theater that's going out of business, and what they do to
and like a multiplex,
it's like Empire Records,
but for a movie. Yeah, like the multiplex coming in next door that's trying to put them out of business, and that's her. Is that her directorial debut or her feature directorial debut? A lot, but she's just starting a new one right now. Take your advice. Holy frijoles. It's true. Empire Records ? Oh, because you don't know that movie? Because you don't know this cultural touchstone from the 90s?
Because I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm so old.
Empire Records has Ethan Embry, Liv Tyler. Who's the other woman in it? She's also very famous.
See, I'm not good at the Kevin Bacon name game.
Anna Webber, thank you so much.
Thanks, Anna.
I almost spelled Anna wrong, which is hard to do because it's too.
What's the difference between a directorial debut and a feature directorial debut?
Oh.
A feature film is technically, according to the Oscars, more than 45 or I think 48 minutes, but essentially a movie, like a long form movie that you go to a theater, it's a feature film. So that's directing a feature film versus if you just direct content, you could direct a short or an episode of television or a play or.
So you had directed a lot of stuff before Non-Transferable, but that was your feature film debut.
Exactly.
And there's a certain cachet to that.
There is.
In Hollywood. So
because people are, and I can attest that having produced a lot of things in the past, I thought, oh, I'll just do more of it for this feature film. It is a completely different process. It's like if you ran a bunch of 5Ks and then you suddenly thought, oh, now I'll just run a marathon. There's an entirely different pacing you have to do, a lot of different self-care, because most of the time for projects like this, you just burn yourself out to get it done. But the idea of
that's what you do.
Yes, but you can't do that on a feature film.
I do too.
So
right, because it's more of a marathon. So you really have to pace yourself. Well, it's funny. Someone asked earlier. Let me do this.
Yeah.
Anna. You tardigated mewling clot pole.
Mewling clot pole. That is lovely.
That's lovely. Somebody asked earlier how the short that I worked on this past week went. And it went well. It was one of the sort of like most laid back sets I'd ever worked on, in that the director had only ever done feature films and she had paced it as such. So we never worked a full day. I never worked more than 8 hours, and a full day for film is typically 12, even though I'm in almost every scene. And we shot 4 pages a day. For what we've just booked, we'll be shooting between like 12 and 15 pages a day.
We should talk about that.
Which is extreme. We usually aim for more like 10.
Yeah. Which is still crazy.
Which is still.
You tell that to most normal people.
Well, there's plenty of TV does about 8 to 10 pages a day. But they also kind of have like the infrastructure set up to just sort of like repeat things. They're not having to invent as much stuff. But we're doing that for budget and scheduling with these actors who we're going to lose to other projects. You know, Joey has 11 million things going on with Star Kid and Tin Can, and we're so grateful that that he can give us the time he can. And Ryan has also booked on just a number of other projects.
Yeah. We work with talented people, and they get hired to do things.
We're still really hoping to be able to announce our Malcolm before the end of the Kickstarter, because he's the kind of person potentially who could, if he's available, help the Kickstarter. But he can't give us an answer till Monday.
Yeah.
So we're working around a schedule for someone who we don't know if we're going to have or not. And if we don't have him, then we're going to have to figure out who else will fill that role. We did just make an offer for 2 roles. And so we're waiting for those roles to be accepted. And if they are, then we'll be able to announce them.
And we have confirmed casting on our Donald Bain.
We have.
Yes.
Can we like announceable confirmed casting?
I mean, we have.
Maybe we'll make a graphic.
Yeah.
We'll add him to the Kickstarter. Should ask him for a bio.
Yeah. We can do those things.
We'll do it. We'll do it officially.
I literally got his email address like this morning.
This morning. So now we'll ask him. Because that was all through his agent.
Yes.
Because we actually cast that role. We put out a breakdown and had people audition for that role because we were looking for someone outside of our friend group.
Yeah. Should we tell people how scheduling works?
Sure.
Would that be helpful? I don't know. We were just talking about it.
At least it's not 60 pages a day, Ed. That's true. But honestly,
that's how Tyler Perry does it.
That's still true. But he's referring to the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. Yes. But what slows down production is not typically the actors. You know, like, tell me that I need to know however many pages of dialogue that I'll need to know. And luckily, you know, the other reason that a feature film is going to go slower is because the day before I'm on the feature film and the day after I'm on the feature film.
Right.
Whereas, you know, for the 19th, we're doing a lot of pages and Ryan is in every scene and the way that we're shooting that episode, everything is basically in one take. So we need to get through the entire scene, both people, without any mistakes, because we're not going to be able to cut away. And we'll basically run it until we have a solid option, and then we'll probably get a backup, and then we'll move on. But I'm not worried about that because I trust the actors. What slows down production is setups, is moving the camera and the lights. And we already have
a team to do it.
When you don't have a team to do it. And even when you do have a team to do it, that's,
it takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're going to lose time more than the actors. And so then it's a matter of how do we have a number of shots that create a dynamic visual storytelling palette, but also a feasible number of shots that we can do with the size of team that we have.
Yeah.
But that's also true of how we did Non-Transferable and so on. Like, that's indie filmmaking.
True. Speaking of doing indie filmmaking, so something you do when you're trying to figure out how to produce the most amount of content in a limited time with limited resources is you create what are called strips, where you take every single scene and literally write, okay, in this case, we're saying episode and scene, the location, what happens, how I've added how it's being shot, because Will wanted a very stylistic look to everything. And so we wanted to be able to keep track of that as we were filming. And then how many pages and who's in it by their cast number. And then you basically block these out in kind of block shooting so that you could shoot out all of Beth's room or all of the living room scenes or all of the backyard in one day and just kind of swap people in and out and kind of change costumes if needed, if it's over different days, to kind of track that throughout. You take this to figure out when you can kind of condense everybody and meet everybody, align that with everybody's schedules to make a calendar, which evolves into a call sheet, which is what everybody gets the night before filming. And it would then have...
It lists the scenes that we're filming.
The same information to tell you what you're going to come and do that day and in what order. Producing.
I don't know. Is that, genuinely tell us if that's interesting to you, because that's like a very basic part of the everyday ins and outs of what producing is. And I don't know if people know that unless they go to film school for it. So I don't know if that's interesting. Let us know.
Anna says it is.
Anna says it's interesting. Amber asks if we'll be able to see the short I just filmed. I have no idea, because we were just talking about how, like, when we go to other sets, like, I only had one job. My only job was to pretend to be a woman named Becca. And it's very interesting to have the perspective of a producer on set and go like, I see the problem that you guys are trying to solve. It's not my job to fix it. And sometimes that's a relief of like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to solve that problem. And sometimes I find myself in the position of going, well, I do have a solution to this, but it's typically inappropriate for an actor to suggest things like that. And so kind of have to feel your way around things. And, you know, the Brendan kind of saying, like, you have to stay in your lane. There are times when you're like, I know how we would fix this on my set.
But this isn't my set.
This isn't my set, and I don't want to, you know, because
it's like going to someone else's house and telling them how to do something.
Well, and like it would also,
it
would be inappropriate for the production designer to start telling me how to act. Also, you know, like, the director is the only person who should be talking to me about that. It would be very strange if, like, wardrobe had thoughts about how I should be doing my job. So it's everyone respecting that everyone is an expert in their field. That said, there was one time that I just kind of threw out something, and immediately that was the solution, and that's what they did. Because I also know my way around a set.
Carla asks a great question.
Anyways, but that is to say, because I have nothing to do with the back half of it, I don't know anything about it. And it was actually a pilot. So they're hoping to make more of it. So she was calling it a short film, but it kind of doesn't really work on its own. Like it, so I don't know what she's going to do if she can't make more of it, because otherwise we just made a pilot.
Carla was asking, so why did we choose then to be such a large part of production? Cat.
Kitty.
And
as well as large acting roles?
Yes.
Because that's how we get to do the acting jobs that we want.
Well, we were approached.
Yeah. Yeah, Will came to us with the idea and wanted to make this with the three of us.
I mean, that was what started all this, was the most flattering thing in the world, which was having a director come to you and say, I want you to play Mackers and Lady M. And as an actor, you're like,
Birdie. Oh, everyone's so excited about your appearance, little lady.
Hello.
Can you face camera? Could you put camera?
Come higher. I'm trying to.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, here.
There.
This moves.
That's. See, moving the camera takes time.
Takes time.
But yeah, so we started this process as being approached to act in it and help develop and write it, which we did. And then because there were the three of us and we had no resources and weren't sure what it was, and it was very experimental, we took the leap of faith and started filming it.
Well, and I don't mean to, like, we're letting you in on what the process is like, but I don't mean to complain and say in any way, like, woe is me if we have to do all this work. We knew that. Right. We signed up for that. We did non-transferable. We did Sona. We know how much work this is. We were expecting this team structure to be a little different, so we're adjusting in real time to it being smaller. And this is a larger thing that we normally take on with less people. We had a much bigger crew for non-transferable to bigger production. We did Sona with just the two of us, but it is a really small contained thing. So,
well, I wouldn't have started non-transferable at that point in my career and my knowledge base. I wouldn't have started that without a post-production, without my editor,
without your editor and
friend.
Right.
And I wouldn't, with Sona, we one of the very first things when we first started talking about it is I wanted to know, can we create animation outside of the pod to be able to show space? Because it's a space show. And until we identified that there was someone who could do that, we didn't start really filming. We figured that stuff out way in advance to make sure that we wouldn't get all this great footage and then not actually be able to tell a space story.
It wouldn't be our style to start filming something that we didn't know how we were going to finish. And so we're just figuring out how we're going to finish it in a different timeline than we would have. But I had a great teacher in grad school who said, right when we were starting, she said, there are times that this is going to be really hard and you will be overwhelmed, and just continue to remind yourself that you asked for this. And I think about that all the time. And so when I'm in the midst of like a lot of hard work, I remind myself, I asked for this. And I asked for this so that I could do the jobs that I'm most excited about, which is acting. I'm increasingly really loving being a writer, and I love being on set. I'm excited for the days on set when I don't have as much stuff to do, because when it's a set that we control, and I know that that's going to be a really positive environment with the way that like our friend group kind of comes together and everyone gives 100% to tell stories and to make something together, that kind of collaborative feeling, like, that's my church. That's like, art is my religion, and it is a collaborative experience. And so I'm incredibly grateful that I get to do it and that you guys make it possible for me to do it. But what a lot of actors end up doing is sitting around in Hollywood being very, very frustrated that they can't get in the door. And I have spent a lot of time in Hollywood feeling very frustrated that I couldn't get in the door. And then I just started cutting holes in walls to finish that metaphor. Because I'm not going to let other gatekeepers keep me from doing what I love most in the world. And that's where we started talking about like hashtag do the thing, make the thing, because that means more to me. And I would rather, you know, and these are like value systems. I would rather get to make art than have a house, because if my priority was getting to have a house, I would go get a much more stable job that would allow me to get a mortgage and have predictable income. And I've chosen to be like this weird artsy person who it doesn't have a house. And that's who I am, and that's who you are. So not saying I wouldn't like a house, but I don't want a house so much that I'm willing to give up being an artist. And so, you know, when I was 6 when I started saying that I was going to be an actor, and my parents were very sweet about it. And then as I got, you know, kind of more to like puberty, my dad was like, but what are you going to do to make money? And that was out of his genuine concern for me. If anyone is an artist whose parents are not as supportive of their art, know that comes from them just wanting you to flourish and them not understanding. But he just couldn't understand, like, but you need money to live. What are you going to do to make money? And I always said, I will live in a cardboard box if I have to, but I will be an actor. And I've never had to live in a box. There've been some lean years, but I've never lived in a box. And that hasn't changed. I mean, that hasn't changed in all the years that I've been doing this, that I wouldn't give up the thing that I love for more security. I don't know, ask me in another 20 years if I feel that way, but that's what I've been doing for the last really, well, ever since I got out of school. And so, yeah, so we're kind of pulling back the curtain and saying, this is what it's like to make stuff, because you're a part of our team and we want to include you. I think it's kind of interesting educationally, because I also know that a lot of people aspire to make things, because I hear that a lot from
Misadventures was asking, how do we start?
How do you start making art all on your own? Great question.
It's free on the page.
That's true. So
it's the cheapest part of the process.
Writing is a great way to start. And then technology has changed much. It depends what kind of art you want to make, but like you can make some decent looking stuff on your polka dot phone. This
shoots the same resolution as the camera we're using.
You can shoot 4K on a phone.
You shoot 4K.
At this point. So
4 of the Ks.
So
right here.
It's a good number of Ks.
It's good Ks.
Film is 8K.
There's a large conversation.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm not getting into that.
But yes, essentially.
It's a good number of digital Ks.
Yes. And look, most of what you're watching anywhere is HD. Like Netflix has this whole mandate right now that you have to be able to deliver it to them in 4K, but no one can really stream in 4K unless you have like Google Fiber at like peak time. So you're watching it compressed down no matter what, but they want to be able to at least start with that high quality.
A handful of Ks. Yes. Right. And if you are,
thank you.
First of all, if you feel like I really don't want to write, I would encourage you to try, because I spent a lot of years going like, no, I'm an actor. I want to say other people's words. I'm not a writer. And first of all, it turns out I'm a pretty good writer. And I
concur.
Thank you. I just had to get over my own, I didn't want to do the work. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to kind of like sit and pull things that don't exist out of my brain. There are times when it's all clicking and it feels so satisfying and you're like, I'm so good at this. And there are other times when you're like, I have to finish this and I don't know how it ends. I'm going to pull all my hair out. But I think it was a kind of entitlement. I felt like I shouldn't have to do it. Are you laughing because the cat is being weird?
No, I'm laughing because I was trying to remember what your quote was.
Like pulling teeth from a baby?
Yes.
At some point I was like curled up on the floor trying to write. This was years ago. And And I was like, it's like pulling teeth from a baby, which is a terrible image.
Good quote.
So
do you guys think that works in reverse? I'm much more confident about my writing than, say, my ugly face. Well, Sophie, it's not an ugly face. It's your face. So it's just your face. There's no
but I also think
judgment on it.
I also think, yes, it can work in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I get what you mean about the ugly face, because we're all really hard on ourselves, and it is really hard to watch yourself.
It's terrible. Oh, everyone hates how they look in 2-dimensional. They're taking a 3D person and smooshing it onto 2D. So all of a sudden your face does all kinds of weird stuff it doesn't do in the mirror. You don't think it does in the world. These things have contouring and depth. So it's adding stuff to your face on a selfie that makes you look a little better than you actually look when we flatten it and screen it in 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second. And everyone hates their voice. Mm-hmm. Hearing your own voice on an answering machine or on a microphone, you're just like, I sound like what?
And
so that's just the human condition.
To
hate yourself.
I came from theater. I mean, we both came from theater. So you never had to watch myself. That's not what theater is about. And so the first thing that I really did on camera was the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. And I used to joke, but it's still pretty much true, that I do watch every episode 3 times. The first time to go, what is wrong with my face? Why is it doing? Why did anyone tell me I look like that? And then the second time to watch my acting. And then the third time to actually take in the whole thing and see what it was. It would take me like 3 times. At this point, I have seen Non-Transferable and Sona so many times that I'm immune to all the parts of it that made me crazy the first time I saw it. I just saw some rough cuts of
some assemblies.
We
don't have a full episode really.
We don't, right? But I saw some. I basically saw some of the footage of A Tale Told by an Idiot for the first time. Yesterday, 2 days ago.
We basically we started looking at it so we could stylistically know what has been established,
right? And
then have conversations about how to film the rest of it.
And anyways,
which is directing homework.
And I just immediately had to remind myself, right, all the things that are bothering you about your face right now, you'll get over. And so like that literally does take practice. And I think it's actually not a bad idea to get used to watching yourself. There are also famous actors, like Johnny Depp famously said this, although, you know, Johnny Depp, we don't love anymore. I think Meryl Streep says this. I don't know, that they hate watching themselves. And Johnny Depp would actually not go to his own screenings. Like he'd go and do the red carpet stuff, but then he wouldn't go inside and watch the movie because he hated watching himself so much. Like that's a common actor thing. So what's hard is when you start making your own content and you're the person who is like putting it together at the end, because if it's someone else's job, they'll just put it together. But when you're working on post, you are going to watch yourself a lot, but you'll get over it. You'll get better at it. Mm-hmm. And the other reason it's great to get used to watching yourself as an actor is because you'll get better.
It's true.
Like I get better over the course of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. And then I'm better in Non-Transferable, and I'm better in Edgar Allan Poe's Murder Mystery Dinner Party, and I'm better in Sona. Like I get better watching myself, and also like studying acting and growing and living as a person. But over the course of the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, we would shoot them a month at a time. So I would shoot 8 episodes at a time. And then I'd see them and I'd make adjustments. And then I'd see the next batch and I'd make adjustments. And I'd see the next batch and I'd make adjustments. And I learned what read and what didn't read on camera. So there are times that I could go, oh, I thought I was doing something very different. And that didn't read. You can't tell that's what I was doing.
My first project was Squatters that I wrote, directed, and was in and did all the things for.
That's great, Gabby.
And I was editing it, and I would encourage anyone in acting to take videos of yourself in a scene and edit them, because I'd sit there and I'd be like, look left. Why are you looked left in the other one? Why aren't you looking left now? Like, and you become more conscious of the technical side, and then that becomes more second nature. So then you can 100% just invest and focus on the character and the storytelling, instead of being wrapped up in trying to remember like which hand was my drink in, and kind of the more technical, less fun logistical stuff. So I recommend editing yourself as a huge, because it also then helps you get over like, what is my face doing? Because you're going to watch it, all the takes of it to find the best moments. And then you're going to be like, oh, when I look this way, I read more as this type of a character than when I look this way. So when you're then playing a character on set, you can go, okay, well, if I want to look a little meaner, I actually can kind of edge myself a little more this way, and it'll read for them. They don't know that, and they wouldn't know to tell me that, but I've seen my face now in a variety of different ways.
True. But yeah, so in terms of how to get started, it depends on, you know, what your end goals are, but like you can do a lot more than used to be possible when we were kids.
This didn't exist.
No,
10 years ago, or 2006 iPhone.
No, later than that.
Okay, but yeah,
like 2008 maybe.
So yeah, so just over a decade.
So
2007. Thank you, Sophie.
There you go.
So yeah.
Cool. That's one way to get started.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It's a way to make your own thing.
We are at $23,382. Should we play
Good job, everybody.
A game?
Yeah. Should we play a little horrible haikus?
I would have done a longer live stream today, but I have to be somewhere at 3. So, are you guys into this?
Yes. There's been response.
Do the coup.
coup.
Sophie.
So, and Sophie went above and beyond, and because
Sophie made art of every haiku that week.
And because of that, Sophie, I was put in touch with the creators of Horrible Haiku, and they wanted to make sure that we gave away some swag. So today we have Horrible Haiku box set that we will include in other shippings for A Tale Told by an Idiot. We have a sticker, and then the thing I am most proud of that they created, a haikuzi.
Get it?
And these haikuzis have haikus on them. So the green one says...
Yeah, I'll read the red one. No, I can't read the red one. Oh, boy.
Well, I'll read it because this is what it says, and you should know.
The black one says, you know what's awesome? Revenge farting on a skunk in front of your friends.
The green one says, ass to mouth kisses, masturbating to sunsets. This is my great dream. The red one says, I have one request. Do me like a swamp donkey, then get the F out. And the blue one says, she struck the llama. He never saw it coming. She hid the body. So if you want to indicate which haikuzi you want, I believe what we're saying is that if
it looks like we have 3 box sets and
3 haikuzi, 4 haikus.
Or are you keeping one?
I was going to keep a haikuzi.
Keep a haikuzi. We have 3 haikuzis. Which haikuzi are you keeping?
Whichever one is
Whichever
not
they don't want.
And then we have stickers.
So we have to decide how much this is going to be. Here's the thing. These were given to us by friends who want to help us raise money, which is so lovely. They're incredibly heavy, so they're just going to cost a lot to ship. Because they're very heavy.
So I would say upping a pledge by 50 US,
though. I'm just worried. I am worried about international shipping being
for us to be able to actually then do something with the pledge beyond shipping you a haiku.
But if you are international and you really want one, talk to us, because I just don't know how much it would cost. Right. But like sending all the posters to everyone for someone, it was like $20 to everyone outside of the country, and that just meant that our profit margins were low in terms of being able to actually break a leg, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye, Jane.
So if you are international and you really want one, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'd say if you want one and you're in the US, increase your pledge by 50.
Or if someone new comes along.
Or a new pledge of 50.
Of 50 or above.
50 or above. And we will send you horrible haikus.
Horrible haikus.
Horrible haikus. Or for instance, if you happen to be coming to Los Angeles and want to pick it up in person.
That's right. Like for example, if you were backing at the screener level.
True.
And you then say hypothetically came to said screening, and then we gave you your swag. Could be a thing. Could be a thing. So shall we play some horrible haikus?
Let's play some horrible haikus.
We're poking.
Yeah, I would give it for less, but it's so heavy. Okay, so what did you get 2
Yeah, so if a backer comes along, we will ship it.
If a backer comes along, we will ship it.
Is that what that was?
I think so.
That's
Otherwise,
fantastic.
It's an incredible coincidence.
That's fantastic.
Was Sophie? Was that your intention, or? Thank you. Yes, I think it was her intention.
Wow. You guys are on a mind melt.
What can I say? What can I say? Okay.
Maybe we need Sophie on set to interpret when you're too tired to tell me what's going on.
No, I'm not. I want everyone to make.
Everyone should be good
choices.
Very responsible financial decisions. Unlike us, starting a entire film project
we've made
before the Kickstarter.
That's true.
Man, this is the one part about this game is that it derails us because we zone in on this, which I hate to give lulls in the conversation. Oh my.
Okay, I've got one.
It's 575?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember when he did a 757? It's not a haiku. It's not a haiku. Oh, right. And then I forgot about the part where we get a style. So if anyone's joining us for the first time, Horrible Haikus, you get these cards that have 2 options on each one for either 5 or 7, and you choose which. You choose a 575, and you get several cards to start. You choose 575, and then you get a piece of direction that tells you how to deliver your haiku, and then basically the only thing close to points is that you just vote on your favorite. It's more of a like everyone sits around and laughs game than like anyone wins or loses game. Everyone's a winner in Horrible Haikus. Bye, Heather. Thank you so much.
Bye, Heather.
We'll see you with the reading.
Indeed. So shall we read them? Would you like a performance card?
Yes.
Your pants are literally on fire.
Oh, God. Okay. Stop stealing my mail. The kiss tasted like hot dogs. I think you'll like hell.
Snaps.
I was trying to put out my opinion.
I support it.
Okay. Well, here, let's. Right.
Well, this was, we've not played yet.
So. Oh. Yeah, let's put it at the back.
Great.
Okay. You ready?
I am ready.
You are riding a large falcon.
Ooh. How Shakespearean. When I bestride him, I soar. I am a hawk. It's from Henry V.
Okay, I was like, that's your haiku?
No. Soaring on a falcon? Was it a hawk? A falcon.
Falcon.
Let's get some pizza. You should clip your fingernails. Goodbye, dignity.
Like goodbye, dignity. It's so good. Pick a favorite.
Pick a favesies.
Who wins?
I didn't get any snaps.
You got a mood.
I did get a mood.
Which beautiful. Brendan wins.
I win. How fantastic. Yes.
Well, you got to soar on a falcon.
So I did get to soar on a falcon.
Love the delivery. Yeah, I know it's very much about the delivery. Okay, so spent cards over here.
Sure. 7s and 5s.
7s and 5s. Keep everything
organized.
Somewhat organized.
Lovely.
You know.
All right.
Here's 2 7s for you.
While we're putting together our next haiku, are there other questions? Are there other thoughts, interest, intrigue in the filmmaking process of A Tale Told by an Idiot? #idiot tale. I'm imagining Brendan on the bird from The Rescuers Down Under.
Oh, great reference. Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, that's bleak. Bleak. Okay.
Oh man.
Okay. I think that's probably the best I can do.
Okay.
Ed asks if we have a first AD. No, Ed, we can't pay first AD. If you know one who likes to work for free, let us know. But otherwise, Brendan has basically been ADing, but he's also directing now.
It's true, but I've also done that before.
Yeah, he did all the jobs on Sona.
AD and directed.
And I'll step in and do a little of that. But here's the other thing: is it's not our culture to ask people to work for free. That's not something that we typically do. We've always wanted to pay people who give us their time and their work, even if it's not as much as they deserve. But that's our value system. And I think this is a project in which we might be more open to volunteers than we have in the past because we just lost a big volunteer, essentially. Like the three of us were basically donating our time and skills. And so having lost a big volunteer, I am open to discussing that. Sophie, are you in LA? Talk to me. DM me. Oh my Lord, y'all. Terrible decisions.
There may be a pledge coming.
There may be a pledge coming?
A massive pledge coming.
Oh, Mela. Oh my goodness.
It is done.
It is done. Well, first of all, you get a horrible haiku set.
What?
As well.
So which haikuzi would you like?
Sophie, don't hitchhike. Don't hitchhike out here.
Absolutely remarkable. Remarkable. Come into the screening with a +1.
With a +1. Well, and talk to us, because if there isn't like an official screening available at that point, I know you guys are coming here, and we'll see if we have something to show you, because we might be able to just have a little bitty watch it on a laptop screening with you.
I'm not sure rent a theater for 4 people.
Probably not.
I don't know.
I don't know that we're quite worth hitchhiking across the country for. Mela, you fawning Coolionly enchantress.
Oh.
I'm going to sub out this one because I can't even say it. You fawning tedious enchantress.
Yes.
I don't see anything wrong with being an enchantress.
I'm
floored. I'm thrilled that you ladies who have been so, I figured you guys were splitting it. I'm thrilled that the two of you who have been so supportive will get to come to our screening, or we'll figure it out. You love Ashley's confused face of me being like, how could you be so generous? But here's another thing that I'll say is, like, you know, we've had a rough like 48 hours. But after I sent out that update last night, I got so many messages and increased pledges from people saying, like, you guys can do this, which we know that we can. We're just kind of restructuring how much work we thought this was, and that you believe in us, and that, oh boy, that makes this worth it, and that makes it it's a great reminder of like why we're doing so much work. Because yes, we love this art and we want to make it, but it would be very sad to make it and not have anyone want to see it. And so the fact that you guys believe in us, I mean, I got verklempt in a good way when I saw that response from people. And now I'm going to read a really ridiculous haiku because that was enough feelings.
You just can't stop smiling.
Time to say goodbye. Pantsless, I embrace the tree. I may poop myself.
Well, that may just have it. I don't know that I can compete.
Well, you're going to have to try.
All right.
You are being chased by zombies.
It's the only way. A man with apples for hands. We're going to die.
I mean,
it's very fitting.
Stiff competition. I know our directions were very
spot on. Maybe I should direct the entire series.
You know what I'm going to say? Because Mela and Gabby are splitting this and you guys have given us way too much money. One of these is Gabby's.
Oh, we're doing twosies.
We're doing twosies.
All right.
Which means there's only one more to go.
There it is. There it is. The great Clemento has spoken.
Because I feel concerned about you guys. So there you go. And you'll get them when you're in LA because they're very happy. Well, it would cost like $50 to ship it to France. So it's like, okay, well then what are we doing?
But no, I might just direct the whole series this way.
Gabby, it's okay. I work. I'm glad you work. That's so nice. We are concerned about ourselves too. They're broke now. Well, you know, just more work. Fantastic. More haikus.
Yes, thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your fellowship. And more haikuing. Do the coup.
Do the coup. Gosh, there was a lot of stuff we covered in this. Was there? Thank you, Jessica.
Thanks, Jessica.
It's not a haiku level though, so
all right.
If someone wants this game, but Jessica, which is a name in Shakespeare, Jessica in Merchant of Venice. You are a withered, swag-bellied ruffian.
Oh, I like swag-bellied.
Yeah, that's really an image.
That's nice. Here we go.
Just making sure.
Juliana says, wait, what's the haiku level? Juliana, what we decided was we have all this swag.
We have one more
horrible haiku. We have haikuzis that go with it. To give
away.
And
so anyone who increases their pledge or backs $50,
yes,
will get the last haiku. But sorry, I'm saying that's for US only because they're so heavy. It's going to cost like $50 to ship to Europe. I'm so sorry. It's just that like they're stupid heavy because they're cards. Because it's so many cards. I wish I could. Oh, we were going to open this.
All right.
But also Heidi has increased her pledge.
Thanks, Heidi.
Heidi, you going to come to our screening?
Is she at that? Oh, my. Thank you, Heidi. I'm sorry, I was supposed to be on tape duty.
You can be on wall duty. Heidi, you unctuous, grim-looked jolthead. Look how many hearts there are, you guys. I love doing this because it's just... I leave these up like all week after we do this because I'm like, they believe in us. We're getting so close to $24,000.
Amazing.
And we are now, oh my gosh, we're less than $1,200 away from the initial goal. Like, this is insane.
Huge. Juliana says,
what about shipping to Canada?
It's $10, I believe, for like the slowest.
For something this heavy?
I don't know for sure, but I know when shipping the Battle Mat decks.
Right, when you were doing Battle
Mat. It's like a $10 flat to go to Canada. So there's a chance that it's more expensive.
If you really want it.
Yeah, Juliana, if you will up your pledge, then we will make it happen.
We will make it happen. I'll just drive up to Canada.
Oh, perfect. There.
It's not far. It's not far.
That'll save money.
That'll save us all the money. I'm not busy, so it's fine. Also, I'm gonna wait and send these packages with everything.
Yes.
So those who backed,
be a big care package.
So those who gave enough to get Battle Mat, those who gave enough to give this, those who gave enough to get other things, we're gonna. The $500 perk says invite to cat and crew. Does it say cat and crew screening? Oh, that's too bad because I can't edit those. Good. Well then.
That is a Freudian slip.
I also was doing that past my bedtime. So stayed up late last night doing that.
All right. The cat and crew screening.
Thank you, Anna. Oh, wait. Let's see. Okay, I got that one.
That's hilarious. What I can't promise.
Okay, I have some hearts to do.
Oh, some hearts to do. Well, I've got some tape to do that.
And then we have haikus to read out.
And we have...
and we want to open... Right.
We want to open... Speaking of shipping...
Jules, did Jules already leave?
I don't know.
Somebody was saying goodbye. I can't remember.
Is
Jules here?
I've got the tape.
Oh, you have... But I... Yes. Okay. Then get ready for the next one.
Great. Do you want to give an insult?
Yes. Who is this? Taylor.
Taylor.
The latte boy. You pinch spotted, toad spotted, very spotted, scullion. Pinch spotted, toad spotted, scullion.
Sophie, I threatened you? I think I gave the quote.
Jules, you're here.
I think Sophie was saying she wasn't going to go to sleep last night, and so I gave the act, scene, and line numbers of To Bed,
Yes.
from Lady Macbeth.
Did you look that up? Did you know to look in Macbeth, though? Because you just quoted numbers.
What's funny is I did that because I thought it might not be received to just write back To Bed.
Yes.
So I was like, I'll quote the play.
Anna, you clouted buck swashing Applejohn.
An Applejohn?
Yes.
All right.
I don't know.
Perfect.
And Juliana, you shard-born tottering bed swerver. Fantastic. Oh, Juliana, you were going for the haiku. Oh, we meant increase by $50, not $250.
To cover the cost of all the things.
All the shipping. But I don't want to be a jerk. Current exchange rate is upsetting. Here's an exchange rate. Jules sent us these bracelets too.
Yes.
So
we wanted to open them on the live stream. These were sent to the Jigsaw's P.O. box.
Which
and I didn't open them so that we could share them with everyone.
I'm gonna check this. Yeah, I think this is probably okay to read, Jules. You guys are awesome. I hope you enjoy the bracelets. Good luck with the rest of the Idiot Tale Kickstarter. The red and black is for me.
Oh.
Based on Beth's outfits. Is the red my hair? Or the blood? Green, tan, blue, green, and tan. Brendan, based on Mac's outfits. Yes, that goes very well with Mac's outfit.
Nice.
And then for Will Joe, yellow and maroon based on the rabbit. We'll make sure he gets that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Thank you so much.
Very cool.
These are very cool.
Yes.
And actually, I think that, Jules, you were saying that you sell these. If you want to put a link in the combo, I encourage you. Because she also said that any more she sells, she'll just put the money in her Kickstarter. How nice is that? These are very cool. I'm sure she can make it say whatever you want. But those are very, very cool. Thank you so much.
Joanna says, "Oh dang, wait, I did not send."
Those bracelets. Different jewels. Cool. We have other jewels. It just literally just says, "Oh, that's an address."
That's an address.
It literally just says Jules, so I don't have a last name for that. Well, I'll need to make sure I thank her.
Yeah, well, we have her address.
I do, and also I probably owe her a bunch of perks.
Huzzah!
Yeah.
We have some haikuage that we owe.
We just called her Jules. There are probably many people who go by that nickname.
It's no Ashme.
Don't call me that. That's only for Miranda, who I call Myrrh. I didn't even start making one of these. I
don't think we got to it yet.
Got to it yet. Put the information about the bracelets on the Kickstarter comments if anyone wants it. Well, there you go.
Perfect. Thank you, Holly. And Gabby, we're not breathing either. We're very excited.
Still not breathing, just an FYI.
But they're all in Norwegian. Norwegian haikus. We could have a Norwegian haiku. That could be enjoyable.
Wait, what's Norwegian? They're all in Norwegian.
The haikus.
Oh, well, I know that you are. Haven't you also sent me the am I confusing people? Didn't you also send me the
sonnet?
Sonnet.
Yeah. I believe so. We're excited to meet you, Gabby. It's going to be fun.
My email?
It's going to be quite an event. Do we have pens? We do not have pens. We do not create the one pens set that we had. Thank you, Remy. Well, the one pen set that we had for Sona was actually created by our distributor of Sona. So We don't have a pipeline for pens.
Currently. Remy, you puking, unwashed strumpet.
Some of these, I feel like people might retract their pledge.
I feel like what a special gift, actually. No one's ever called me a puking unwashed strumpet to my face.
Not yet. Give it time.
Thank you. You want to hear some dumb haikus? I mean, some extremely good haikus? Or maybe one of us should entertain people while the other one...
Entertain me.
Me.
Where are these insults coming from? Carla, so...
Oh, great question.
This is a great question.
They're Shakespeare. They're coming from this book called Thou Spleeny-Bellied... Swag-Bellied Miscreant. And it's
a flip book.
It's a flip book of... Basically, like, you go, like, you create your own Shakespeare insult because some big old nerd went through the entire canon and pulled out every insult, like, adjective, noun, and made this book, and I happen to own it because I'm a big nerd.
Thank you, Maitland. You've made a giant impact on our ability to make art, so thank you.
Thank you. You guys are... feeding my soul. These are all really good.
Oh my, that's disturbing.
Oh, Juliana, you in it?
Oh, Juliana came to play. Horrible haikus it is.
This is for you.
And
this
you
was
choose
upside down.
Which haikuzi?
Has anyone voiced an opinion on
No one has voiced an opinion about a haiku yet.
Okay, the three of you, Mela and Gabby, you guys can duke it out when we get here, if you want. But
and there's many other perks, basically everything under the $50 level.
Yeah. No, there's a bunch of other stuff you're getting as well. But I mean, if you have a preference about your haikus,
indeed.
And
we read them at the beginning of the stream. They're very inappropriate.
But there are, or even if you just have a color preference. But I would also say that if, for instance, you don't want to have very terrible language, then blue and black are the non-terrible language ones, and the red and green are some languages.
Do we have a insult for Juliana?
Juliana, for upping again, you gore-bellied, white-livered knave.
Knave.
Thank
Knave's
you so
a good
much.
go-to. It's always one of my faves.
I don't care. French people don't understand English. Well, you do. So, Juliana, if you have a preference, shout it out. 2 days ago, you couldn't. What? Able to go. Okay. You guys are great. Okay, wait. Oh, these are good.
Oh.
These are really good.
Wow. See, we get absorbed by this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
yes.
Okay, I have one.
Hold on.
I could make so many good ones with this. Because there's the randomness factor, which is entertaining, but then there's also the, like, when you can make a cohesive message.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Misadventures.
Oh, I'm very conflicted on my last line. I have to decide between two. Thank you, Misadventures.
I ran out of space, like, every time I've ever tried to make a poster for anything. Misadventures, you unbookish, I'm sure that's not true for any of us, unbookish, gut-scraping dotard.
Dotard?
I have a feeling we're all quite book-oriented.
I think Holly is saying that we're 1117 away.
Is that how far we are away?
That's how far we are away.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So 6 more hours and we'd be all ones. 1111.
I do love when the numbers are lined up.
The symmetry.
Which is just a dumb thing.
Woo!
Woo!
We're doing it.
We're getting there.
We're doing it.
Whew. You know, there was a time I wasn't sure if we'd make this goal to begin with.
It's true.
Okay. Okay. I need a direction.
I'm sorry.
How to deliver this.
Let me Can I have some more direction cards?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You are a T-Rex.
Say what you need to. Delete your search history. Time travel is wrong.
Yes.
I mean,
yes. Yes. It writes itself.
That worked out well. You ready? You ready?
I'm conflicted between two. The direction is going to make or break this.
Oh, Heidi.
Here we go.
You're not going to like this.
Okay.
Stand face first against a wall.
Okay.
I will angle to support this.
Should I sit? May I sit face first for camera frame? I may regret this. Rub hummus on my nipples. My heart is racing.
That I feel was well written, but the performance wasn't ideal. You were undermined by this card.
Yeah. See, bad direction. This is what I'm worried about. This is what keeps me up at night.
You're a very
bad
good
direction
director.
Could derail all that great writing.
Oh, Emily, the $6 bothered you too. Thank you so much.
Oh, Emily.
It's funny because sometimes I'll see that people clearly look at the Kickstarter and are like, why is it that random amount? And they fix it, but then like someone else comes along and backs. But yeah, sometimes somebody will give like $3 or $1, and then the like numbers aren't like clean round numbers.
Real quick, Mello, we have sold the film non-transferable to Luxembourg, so you might be able to watch it. And Mela, I understand that is not how you use hummus. Thank you.
There's a little bit of my spit on Emily's heart now. Emily, you.
Oh.
Courage, scurvy, vassal.
Thank you, Emily.
I wish I was from Europe. Wait, Gabby, where are you from? Because Mayla's in France. We have a new backer. Melody.
Hey, Melody. Thanks so much. Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the idiocy.
Welcome. There's melody.
Melody.
There's an accent, but that's also how I already would have said it. But maybe I'm saying it wrong because.
Oh right, Melody.
Maitland's from Indiana. Wait, Melody. Gabby, you're from Michigan. You and Mela are so close. I thought you were from similar places. Yes, we all wish we were from Europe in that case because it seems better. Melody, you barbarous, feeble polecat.
Polecat.
Look at all the love.
Look at all this love. Let's see.
It makes me feel so loved. I love you guys too. Internet friends. I mean, I think we had internet friends when I was in high school too, but it was like newer. It was the kind of thing where like parents were like, who are you meeting in those chat rooms? Is it safe?
Nope. The answer was no.
The answer was no.
The answer was no.
The answer was no. That was a 50-year-old man. You were right, Mom. Yeah, I used to go on AOL, and you guys don't even know what I'm referencing.
Or AOL Instant Messenger or AIM.
And my mom would like hover. I mean, by the time
Joanna, your parents
that was really when I was in like middle
the internet is still still a scary place.
That was really when I was in like middle school. By the time I was in high school, I was allowed to just like message and chat and stuff. But it was all newer technology, so our parents didn't know. But none of us had phones. We could not text. There was no texting when we were growing up. And then texting for a while like cost more than just making a phone call.
Yes, it was very annoying.
I really switched to texting when I did my semester in London because in London, and then I did a semester in Florence, and it was so much cheaper
because you could just top up
to text than it was to call. So that's when I finally really adopted texting. Was like college.
I'll see.
Oh yeah, on the old
tonight. Question mark.
Pizza? Question mark. They had to be short. But I always refused, because I'm like a grammar nerd. I refused to like use the standard abbreviations that everyone else was using in text.
Yeah.
So like I would still write it out with like correct punctuation, even though it took so much longer, and it was dumb of me to do it that way.
That's why my buddy Mark and I were friends.
Because
we were both pretentious texters.
Well, it's like if a guy's trying to flirt with you and he's like, and it's like how the letter R, the letter U, I'm like, not good. I'm not good.
I'm not good.
Ooh.
Oh
boy.
Ooh.
That's funny. That's applicable. Oh boy, that's good too.
Man.
Most of my friends are on the internet. I don't think we're almost at 32. Or are you looking at it in Canadian dollars? Because I was like, I'd love to be at 32,000, but that's not.
I think it's interesting that Kickstarter does the adjustment.
Yeah, but I think that's
right.
Helpful, because otherwise it's hard. It would be hard for her to gauge.
But yeah, we're closing in.
So what is in Canadian dollars? What's our end goal? We're very close to $24,000. I like want to read all of these to you guys.
I'm ready.
You are ready.
The end goal in euros is 22K.
Oh.
And in Canadian dollars, it's 33,336.
Huh. So the euro is stronger and the Canadian dollar is not as strong.
Is that Australia AUD?
Okay, we'll try this.
34,877.
That's so interesting. In pounds, it's not. Yes, 19, the pound is very strong.
117. It'd be funny to see it in like
yeah, we just picked some very random numbers.
Dole bars, I think they are.
I could not have pulled that out. I know about.
But we'd be like, our goal would be like in the millions.
Okay, I have one.
Great.
Shall I go first?
Sure. Should I provide direction?
Okay.
You are a yoga instructor. The commitment. The commitment. We're going to see a pose here.
I'm trying to, but there's stuff over there. Okay. That's where I put all my shoes. Kids have no idea. I tried to quit, but failed. Prison surely waits.
Nice. Nice.
I'm trying to figure out yoga poses I can do without actually
on a live
leaving frame.
Yes.
Okay, that was mine.
Nice, nice. I require direction.
What's HKD?
Hong Kong dollars?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Hong Kong dollar is very strong, is what you're saying.
May I have some direction?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm not used to being the director. You are profoundly constipated.
The coffee tastes weird. Slight diabetic coma. Forget about it.
It's funny is that I had this one.
Oh.
I was also really torn. I wanted to be able to use You May Not Recognize Me.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
The Vacuum of Space Killed Him. And Teleportation Expert. I liked every one of my seven.
Yeah.
My seven lines.
Ashley wins that one. Yeah.
Thank you.
The physical gestures go a long way.
So much.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm committed. You can see how committed I am to
It's all in the direction cards.
Hang on.
Oh. Excitement. Updates.
No, sorry. The updates come in from 2 apps and they come in at different times. So we're still up to date. That was amazing. What do you want to say? Initially, HQ is linked to USD mostly when USD is very strong. But then how come yours is so much higher? Explain that. I mean, low. Like if the goal is lower, then how? How is it linked?
And our goal is 4 Bitcoin.
Depends when.
Depends on the day or the hour.
At some point, it was less than 1 Bitcoin.
It's true.
Okay. Oh, nope, not saying that. That's funny.
Oh, no.
That's funny. I kind of just have to go with that because it makes so much sense. Oh, that's right. I forgot that you don't have to toss your hand every time. So if you like something, you're allowed to keep it. I forgot that.
I forgot that as well. I thought we needed
brand
new hands.
I did too, because I'm going to just keep that because I like it so much. Okay, I have one.
Okay.
I know, I'm speedy.
Good for you.
But also, that means also I can entertain everyone. We're trying to keep the game PG-13, but the game is not.
It's not. It's not. It's difficult.
It is rated R. So it's I mean, there's a range, but I wouldn't play with kids. And I realize, of course, that you guys aren't kids and that it's fine, but I don't know. It still feels strange. Of course, we've put a lot of F-bombs in our script, as we've discussed. We've also been shooting clean versions, just with the awareness, particularly that like the Lizzie Bennet Diaries got used so much in schools because it is a literary adaptation, and that likewise Macbeth is taught in a lot of schools. If we were even doing like a less famous Shakespeare, if we were doing an adaptation of like Titus Andronicus, I don't know that we would be as concerned about it. But because Macbeth is like a lot of sophomore English classes Shakespeare, we're just making sure that there is a clean version in case that's something that is like useful, because you know sometimes teachers, even though obviously teenagers hear this language and use this language, sometimes teachers aren't allowed to show things that have stuff in it.
Well, and if we're going to go to all this work, we should have the possibility for a broad audience if we feel like the story serves that. There's some stories that aren't for every audience, but there's some stories that are. So anyway, so we're making a clean version in case that, or we're filming a clean version in case that, but also we're. Gabby, you say we read Macbeth this year, junior year, and I wish we could have had this, or you read Macbeth this year. I'd be very interested in what type of work your curriculum called for to like unpack the show.
My teacher made us listen to an old guy read it.
Interesting.
That's real boring.
That is very boring, but like ideas of like how to approach the text and how to study the text. If we kind of have an idea about how schools might be using it, we might be able to tailor at least some moments to be able to.
You know, and it's not like we're planning to replace Shakespeare. Nor do I think necessarily that you would like pass your AP exam if you had only watched A Tale Told by an Idiot. But like Lizzie Bennet, it's an entry point for some people, and like Lizzie Bennet, it's an interesting conversation to have about adaptation and sort of thinking about how these old stories can feel very relevant. What is sort of the like modern equivalent of things.
Holly says they had a comic book that was the play, but in comic book form.
Oh yeah,
that's really cool.
I've seen they've done that for a lot of Jane Austen as well. I have been given every Jane Austen related possible like gift, from like Jane Austen action figures to like Pride and Prejudice comic books and stuff. So I have seen these things. Okay, give me a direction.
A direction for the haiku.
That's a good one.
Hop up and down on one foot.
Okay. Just gonna angle myself on camera.
Tilt up.
Want a new hobby? I enjoy watching bad films. It's something to do.
Snaps. Snaps.
Okay. So then your direction is, you are a German-born citizen raised in Montreal, Canada. Yes, you are German, French, Canadian.
Okay. So
that's a weird one.
Massage my prostate. Never shake hands with liars. I'm cold all the time. I'm sorry.
He just added the sorry because he's Canadian.
He's French Canadian.
German, French Canadian. Hell yeah, representation.
All right.
That's your German accent.
Who won? And then we have about 5 minutes left.
That's true, until I have to leave.
Sign folks off. Tell them.
This will be Colonel Clinton.
It was more Irish.
I win.
Ashley wins.
You did
Brendan.
it. You actually, he did a, he's on a, have you seen Brendan's episode of Elementary? Because he's actually speaking German.
I learned German for it.
What season was that you were on Elementary?
Wow.
You know what I learned the other day? That show's still on.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was like, wait.
That's amazing.
I don't have cable anymore. That seems like a real tie.
It does seem like a pretty good tie. Good job.
Good job.
Good job.
But
accept.
Thank you. And maybe that's a nice note to leave on.
Yeah. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins in horrible haikus. Also, if you love the game, just Google horrible haikus because you can get it from them. But Brendan was on Elementary, and we don't remember what season it was. But if you look up, I think it was season 6. But if you go on IMDb, it's there, and also on my website, BrendanABradley.com, I have just a clip of it at the bottom, the front page. But yes, he played three people because he played doppelgangers. It was fun on Elementary. It was fun, and that it was like, was that 2015, 2016? That was around when we were doing Untransferable. Yeah. So that would be 2015. Yeah. I just know because he had to go to New York. That was crazy. So he did actually speak German. Speak the German. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait, before we go. Oh, pledge at the buzzer. Leah sneaking in. Thanks, Leah. All right. So one insult for the road. You beastly, dizzy-eyed wantwit. Excellent. A beastly, dizzy-eyed wantwit. So that's a thanks to Leah, thanks to Emily, a thanks to Melody, a thanks to Juliana, Jessica, Caitlin, Rose, Anna, Gabby, Anna, Peta, Peta, Mela, Anna, Juliana, Heidi, Misadventures, Taylor, Remy, Ed, Paul, Amber, Elizabeth, Heather, Aileen, and Jane. Thank you for joining us for the live stream, for having some horrible haikus and some insults with us, for unpacking. Officially past 24,000. We've less than 1,000 to go until we reach our initial goal, which will actually mean that we definitely get the money. Which means we can actually make the show. For sure. We can definitely for surezies make the show. And just so less than $1,000 to that. And then our stretch goal is an editor. Our stretch goal is ideally 30K to get an editor. But we are going to figure it out. So, thank you everybody for spending your Saturday with us. Join us in 2 days for a live stream reading of Macbeth. If that's, the middle of the night where you are, it will also live on my channel until the end of the Kickstarter. So, you can always check it out. But we will actually be reading the words by Mr. William J. Shakespeare. The J stands for Julia. Little known fact. William Julia Shakespeare. I went to grad school, guys. Willie Shakes. See you in 2 days. See you in 2 days. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. You guys are the best. I love you. Bye.